All right, well, it's Kamar, episode 6 of the Believer podcast. Today I have Mr. Graham with me today.
Appreciate you. Call me David, fam.
Okay. Just have it at this point. But
I feel you.
Appreciate you coming up. Appreciate you coming out here.
Appreciate you for having me.
So, kind of lead off, I would like you to just introduce yourself and tell a little bit about your story, what you want to share at the beginning.
All right. My name is David Graham. I'm an Atlanta native, Decatur to be exact. I'm a trainer by day and also work in fintech. Just love helping people. I love the sport of watching people get better. And I say the sport because to me, life is a sport. Mm-hmm. So it's not, even though we might play football, basketball, track, what have you, life itself is a big game and how you play it is important. So son of an immigrant. My mother's West African from Liberia, and met my dad here in Florida, and I've just love trying to be a better person, man. So my whole thing is trying to make each other grow to the next level. Okay.
Yeah. And then, so, I see you're a trainer, do all that good stuff. What made you feel like that was your calling? Outside of the regular work world, that type of thing, but what made you seem like training is your calling?
Man, I was running up, trying to get up here, so excuse me, I'm a little hot.
Oh, no worries. You need the fan, I'll turn the fan
Yeah,
up.
please.
I got you.
I'm a hot-natured guy.
I got you.
I'm a hot-natured guy, so forgive me. Trust me, my wife complained. You always keep the house on 868. Like, yeah. So I'll say this. My brother was a big inspiration to me. My brother is a personal trainer and a martial artist. And myself, I was a sickly kid. I was like a very, very, very late bloomer. I was in like 5'3", 200 in 8th grade. And then I hit my growth spurt. But at the end of that summer, I had a bet with a friend who was also kind of chunky like me. And he was like, yo, let's lose weight. So that summer, I ran every day. I did push-ups, sit-ups, and my friend got a basketball goal.
Okay.
And I couldn't play. I was traveling all over the place. His dad would help me out a little bit. And between my 8th and 9th grade year, I dropped 40 pounds in 2 months.
Dang.
And I just started falling in love with training after that. So that's how I started.
That's 40 pounds in 2 months. That's impressive. That's impressive.
They thought I was a new student because my growth spurt hit. So I went from 5'3" to 5'9". I went from like 190-ish to down to like 150.
Dang. Okay. That's impressive. That's impressive. So if you had to go back to your younger self from what you've learned now, what is something you would go back and tell your younger self?
Be confident. Be confident. Be bold. Take the chance. Take the risk. Speak up more. Because I was a super shy kid. I'll say my basketball coach, I had two. My JV coach was also my English teacher. Okay. And my varsity coach was my history teacher. And shout out to Coach Cook and rest in strength, Coach Frazier. But Coach Cook was on me all the time. He was always like calling me in class, trying to make me speak up. And I was like, yes, sir. And he's like, speak up. And then when I tried out, I didn't try out until 10th grade for basketball.
Okay.
And when I tried out, he was just, yo, how you gonna call out a play like that? What are you doing? I thought he hated me, yo. I thought he hated me for real. But when, we had a parent-teachers conference and the way he talked to my parents about me, I was like shocked. I'm like, who is this guy? He's so nice now on me. He's like giving me crap every single day, yo. But that's what I'll tell myself. Be confident, be bold, speak up, take chances.
Yeah. And then throughout from being a kid, what chances have you taken? If you've taken any chances throughout your life, and what have you succeeded with, and also what have you failed with that you've got a good lesson from?
Oh gosh, we might need another podcast. Well, on the positive side, I will say just becoming a trainer. Because even though I love training, I didn't pick up personal training officially probably until 2008. I just trained myself, and then a friend or two might say, "Hey man, can I work out with you?" And it kind of snowballed from that into me starting to pick it up and doing it. As hey, I can earn money doing this. I really enjoy doing this. I had a janitorial business in the early 2000s that went horribly wrong. Started off well, had it with the janitorial business, you have to bid on contracts for business. Like, maybe it's a warehouse, you bid on a contract. But if ownership changes, they're going to usually come in with the new owner has his own crew already.
Yeah.
So our biggest contract fell out And then me and my business partner at the time, we just like, yo, it's getting tough. I'm struggling just to keep a roof over my head. I had a lady at the time. I had to make ends meet. So that was probably one of the bigger things. But even basketball, first time I tried out my sophomore year, I got cut. So instead of how some people do and just, man, it's politics, it's that and the third. I just walked up to the coach. I made it to the last cut. I got cut. I said, hey, what do I need to do to make the team next year? He gave me things to write down. I spent some work. I not only made the team, but ended up starting a lot next year. So it's just things like that. When you have adversity, how do you respond to it? That's what we're judged by.
Yeah. What would you say to, college athletes, high school athletes, middle school athletes? Doesn't have to be just basketball, but like in any sport, if people go through like, I didn't make the team, is this what I should do, or things like, what would you tell a kid that's going through that same situation right now?
I would tell them straight up, like, are you putting in the work that you think you're putting? Because most times you say you're working hard, and you coach my nephew, so you know full well. Most times you believe you're working hard until you see somebody working hard.
Yeah,
as the old saying goes, success leaves clues.
Yeah.
So you yourself is a great proponent of this. You know what it took to get to being a high school player. Then you know what it took to be a standout in high school. Then you know what it took to be, I believe you were freshman of the year in your conference. So you saw these milestones yourself, and you saw the guys who didn't make it. And I'm sure you can look back at your teammates from high school and college and notice there's a difference in how much time you put in, the time you put in the weight room, the time you put in sleeping. Like, most of the kids, they gaming all night. I'm like, yo, when we gonna hit downstairs and go to the weight room?
Yeah.
When we gonna run some laps? When we gonna get some shots up? So that's the biggest thing. If you really want something, look at those who've done it and kind of follow their footsteps. Like, yo, what did they do? Okay, am I doing this? Am I doing that? And if you are, then you might have to realize maybe it's time to reassess. You're doing everything you can, but if 9 times out of 10 is something you could do.
Facts. No, I definitely agree with that. A lot of early mornings, late nights, 2-a-days, all that good stuff. No, I definitely remember all that getting there.
I remember watching it. I'm watching it from afar on IG when you were with other trainers like Barlow and Champ, and seeing them work. Like, this kid is getting it. Yeah. And so when I saw the success, I'm like, of course. I seen him. Champ posting him at 6, 7 a.m. in the morning, or you running around, or you lifting weights. I'm like, yo, I ask every, I'll say this, I don't know if you know this, like there are certain metrics that they have for average athletes, both GPA wise and like things like your power clean, your bench press, your vertical. And most people are nowhere near that number, but they're telling you in 9th, 10th grade, I'm gonna be D1 at Arizona or Duke. I'm like, bro, you can barely jump over a broomstick. You got a nice shot, but that's about it. Your handle's not good. This is not good. You eat like crap. Come on, dog, help me out. So that's all.
Facts. And then, so what does fitness mean to you? Like throughout the years, like what does fitness mean to you?
Your ability to control your life from a physical standpoint. My father just turned 86 last weekend.
Okay. And
outside of his eyes, he can do everything else. If he still had his eyes, he would still be working. My dad was an upholsterer. He would, make furniture like this and everything. So he worked all the way up until his eyesight was gone. But I don't want to be dependent. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to move. You want to be able to live. You want to be able to still drive on your own and not have people help you across the street. You don't want to be that person. So I think of fitness as freedom.
Yeah. No, that is definitely facts. But I say, because injury-wise, I've had some injuries and stuff. And it feels like when you can't do what you want to do, it feels horrible.
It's terrible.
It feels horrible.
It's terrible. Not only that, but think about it like this too. So you want to be around for those who you care about. So like, I want to be in good health so I can take care of my wife. I can be able to help my mom. If I'm ill and people depending on me, I'm doing them a disservice by not taking the best care of my body as I can. Or at least reasonable care. I'm not telling you to be like, an Olympian, but at the same point in time, if you're over too much on the scale, if you got high blood pressure or things of that nature, you can do better. 9 times out of 10, we know what we should do. Yeah. We just don't do it.
That's facts. That's facts. And then bouncing off that question, what is basketball meant to you over the years?
Changed my life because of the fact that I didn't play any sports like growing up, like most of my friends played park football or baseball or basketball. And because I was a fat, sickly kid, just being real. So as I already said, I had a lot of allergies growing up. So I was just that sniffly, sneezy, runny nose kid hanging out in the neighborhood. And then when I found basketball and found my love for fitness, what it led me to do is it led me to make friendships that I have to this day, from guys from high school or from other places. It brought me opportunities, like being on the court helped me, believe it or not, get a promotion at a job. I know friends who've been on the court that took them to not only being at their job, but now being like very high level earners at their job, just from a basketball game.
Yeah.
You know, some people find that in golf too. You know, there's other things, but just being involved with athletics is bigger than just the game.
Yeah. And what would you tell someone that is out, playing in men's leagues or playing in college and things like that, and they don't really understand the relationship building part of it? They just see it as, I'm out here, I just want to play, I just want to get better at it, but not really take the time to really build relationships with people.
Bro, I will tell you straight up, like, don't take any opportunity for granted. Even meeting someone in a grocery store, you never know.
Facts.
I've had opportunities come up just like that, or I've given opportunities to people just like that, just off of running into them in the grocery store. A friend of mine was working, Bob, where your pops stay, your mom and dad stay, the Cold Stone Creamery over there?
Yeah, I know that. Yep.
Do you know I hired a dude right out of that Cold Stone Creamery? Walked in the Cold Stone Creamery. I used to go there all the time, pick up stuff for my wife and myself. And I was like, this guy was always nice. He was always professional. He was like over the top for a guy making ice cream, right?
Yeah.
And so I just asked him one day, I was like, hey man, would you be willing to do something else if I could get you X amount of dollars? And he was like, yeah, that's like way more than what I make now. I was like, all right, you got a resume? No. I was like, this is how you make a resume. We sat down and talked because it was very dead in there that particular day. Lo and behold, he ended up getting a job, got promoted, things like that. So he went from making ice cream, he was only like 21 at the time, to getting in corporate America, and now I'm thriving in other things.
That's big time.
So basketball, a pickup game, just men's league runs. I mean, you don't know who you run into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's facts. That is definitely facts. You never know what connections you can
know.
build. Yeah. So then, from what is a time in your life where things were great or things were bad, and then what did you do to get over those? I guess what is a time in your life that things were great, and how did things transpire from that? And what was a time in your life where things were bad, and how did you transpire from that? And what did you learn from each one of those type of situations?
The business that I was telling you about, the janitorial business, probably the lowest time, because at that point in time, we lost that contract. We had another issue with the contract. We only had like 4 or 5 locations in town, but that one was probably about 75% of our revenue.
Yeah.
And I lost it all. I lost like my place at the time. I had to move in with my in-laws at the time, get back on my feet. My car died. Like everything that could go wrong, I was like, yo, what's going on? I'm not a bad person. I'm trying to do what I can. So,
yeah.
But through that, I said, I will not allow myself to get here again. I think I bit off more than I could chew. But sometimes you got to step out and be bold in spite of. And that was something I learned. So that was probably one of the lowest times, like building myself back up from thinking you're on the way up, or maybe doing your own thing fully and then it not working out and then having to start from the bottom and get back to a certain level again.
Yeah.
I'd say probably the best time, or it's not one of the best times, there's many good times, thank God.
Oh, yeah.
But when I was stuck in 2015, like I had grew at my job, fitness is starting to pick up, and I felt like I had capped out where I could do. And I was speaking with a mentor, and I was just asking him, like, what should I do? What's going on? And she told me, like, yo, you should talk to your VP and see if there's a way for you. What's next? Lo and behold, wrote him a nice long email, asked him to spend some time with him. Wound up talking to him and ended up getting, probably within 90 days of that conversation, a promotion, which led to another promotion.
Yep.
And things that really changed my financial circumstances at that time, which weren't bad, but they weren't great.
Yeah.
to where I am now. It's a lot more comfortable.
That's
I'm not
always
killing
nice.
the game by far, trust me. But I'm a lot more comfortable with where I was.
Yeah.
So that's two things I can think of.
Okay, and then what did you learn from both of those? Like, what did you learn from the good part? So I know you said you learned, like, you never want to be in that bad situation. You learn how to keep building yourself. What did you learn from just the good and getting better? What did you learn from that part also?
Those who don't ask don't receive, right? Ask for what you want, and you'll be surprised. That's what I'm a person of faith. That's what the Bible says, and we ask. We don't ask, or we ask amiss.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be bold and confident in how you speak and how you desire things. That doesn't mean you got to be arrogant, but you'll be surprised. People may say yes more often than not, and if you don't ask, as they say, the squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's facts. You never know.
you never know.
You never know. So what does the word believer mean to you?
Man, I mean, it means someone who understands what is for them, even when everyone else around them tells them they're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So you saw yourself at a certain point in time. And I'm going to flip the question on you.
Okay.
Come on. When did you knew that you were very good at basketball?
Ooh, that's a good question. I knew I played basketball and soccer growing up. When I started playing at 3, when I was a 3, and then, throughout the years playing both of them, I just started to realize, I was not bad at what I was doing. I made a lot of good friends when I was younger. We started playing, and at 10, kind of made a decision to keep playing basketball and start playing football also. But on all the teams when I was younger, I was usually not. If I wasn't the best, I was one of the best players on the team. So
That young, you started.
I started to realize because I would be able to dominate in a way when I was young.
Talk your talk. I was killing them. Could do nothing with me.
Against younger kids, and I was like, if I'm really good and better than everyone that I've been playing against, I could, potentially one day be something with basketball. And then that's when I was like 10, I kind of started to realize that, and I just started to keep playing. I didn't really start training for basketball until I was probably 12, 13.
But did you know at 10 that let me say this, when did you see yourself like, hey, I can probably go to college off of this?
I would probably say the realization of that didn't probably start happening until I was like 12, 13, 14.
So 2 years later, in middle school, I knew I was going to be in college as a D1 athlete.
I had the dream of, I was like, I could be where, like, my role model when I was growing up was Ray Allen. And that's kind of, I'm a Celtics fan to this day because of that. And I kind of, watching him when I was younger, I was like, I wore the number 20. At one point, I shot with 2 hands because I thought that's how he shot when he shot like this. So when I was growing up, I shot with 2 hands because of that. Yeah. And I just started to realize, maybe I could be where he is. So, and that's kind of, I just kept playing and playing and playing. And then I started training for real, and then I started actually getting ranked and things like that. And people saying, this kid's really good. And then got to start varsity my freshman year.
Oh, yeah, you was really good.
And
you started varsity freshman year. My bad.
Yeah, so it was fun. It was a fun journey of like realizing like this could really be like what is my life and what changes my life. And just unfortunate that things happen, injuries happen, didn't get to the goal of the NBA and playing professionally and things like that. But at least I know deep down it wasn't because I wasn't good enough or I didn't put the work in enough. It was just because unforeseen circumstances that I couldn't control.
Right, but you gave it your all. Yes. I can definitely say from watching from afar, you gave it your all. So,
yes.
So taking what you said, right, you was talking about the believer in me. I'm going to use something that my late sister gave me. Mm-hmm. So my sister got diagnosed with MS when she was 26. Okay. And I don't know if you know what MS is, multiple sclerosis.
I kind of know. I have an idea of what it is. And
it's a nervous system condition that attacks, your basically your nervous system just goes under attack. So she ended up losing. She was 5'10", very athletic. She ran track, did softball, and like when she had her second child back then, they didn't know that it's probably not best for you to have kids if you have MS. And she had her second one, and at 2, when my niece was 2, she started losing the ability to walk. Then she started having numbness in her hands to the point where she became bedridden and she could only use one arm. Mm-hmm. But through it all, she always said, like, you know what? I'm blessed. I'm happy. I never saw her with a sad expression. She still talked to her friends like, oh, what you doing this weekend? This, that, and the third. Even though her body was just basically attacked. But the most important thing that told me something about belief was that when my niece, probably a year after that happened, she had some other rare disease that caused her to lose a lot of weight. Like I said, she was 5'10". She got down to like 110 pounds. So, that's real slight, right? And the doctor's like, yo, we don't know if you're going to make it for like another year. And at the time, she just looked the doctor in the straight. She's like, I got a 2.5, 3-year-old daughter. I'm going to see her graduate high school. She was at the graduation 15 years later and then passed like a few months after her graduation.
Dang.
So that's the power of belief that I saw firsthand.
Yeah.
And somebody who's like, yo, she may not make it from a doctor. And she's like, forget that. I'm going to be here. I got a daughter. I want to see her graduate high school. And she lived all the way through it. So that's belief.
Facts. Because you never know. You never know what the
fam.
next day, year looks like. That's blind belief in
Definitely
what you believe in right there.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's big time. That is big time. So I guess switching kind of more fun.
Here we go.
Previously we had to talk about who's the
God.
GOAT. I'm gonna flip it to who's the GOAT of sports. Who's the GOAT of all sports?
If we're being fair, of all sports,
yes,
it might be Gabby, the gymnast. Mm-hmm. It might be her, dog. She's got every medal. She dominates since she was like, I think 15 in the Olympics. If we were talking about all sports.
Yeah.
That's not what we talked about.
I wasn't flipping to that, and then we're going to get to the other
It might
part.
be her just because of the fact that her domination was so, and gymnastics, I think, is probably one of the most elite things you could do as a physical athlete.
Facts.
Like, I mean, they're amazing.
Facts.
So I might go with her.
Okay.
Who about you?
It's tough because, you see like Tom Brady, you see Michael Jordan, LeBron, you see baseball legends. I might have to say Michael Phelps.
It's one of those two. Yeah, he was up there. It's one of those two.
Done like swimming and stuff. That is so tiring. So him to do that the way he did it is so impressive to me. Once you try something, or you go Serena and Venus.
They're up there, right? If you would have said either of those three, the only reason why, and there's nothing against Brady, the only reason why I don't say Brady is because he's playing the quarterback position. And I know he played it for a long time.
But you have a team.
You have it's 11 guys, right?
That's facts. That's facts.
Not only that, but the fact that he was in the right situation and some of that is opportunity. Like, I wonder if other quarterbacks, because he wasn't the most talented. Mm-hmm. Like, you can say Michael Phelps was definitely the most talented. You can say young lady that just mentioned gymnastics, definitely the most talented.
Yes.
Bron, phenoms. Brady was like, I would say, if you wanted to give like the GOAT award of hard work, Brady by far wins that award. He's just a grinder.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I agree. But now,
here we go.
Who's the GOAT of basketball? I say Bron.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah, I know. So, and I'm going to say MJ. And the reason why I say MJ, well, no. Let me say both things first. So, because we had this offline. So, online, Bron has every statistical metric. He is both part Karl Malone, part Magic Johnson in one body. 6'8", 6'9", 250. Some say he got to 270 at sometimes, but just a freak of nature, right? He's going to have every longevity stat known to man. When I make my GOAT discussion, I look at it as at your peak. And for me in basketball, I need at least 7, but preferably 10 years of greatness to look at. And when I look at Michael Jordan's 10-year and LeBron's 10-year, that's what separates it. Not the championships, because, there's other players who got more championships and this, that. We're not going to talk about Bill Russell, or we're not talking about Kareem or somebody like that. So you can't use that. And I don't like And I know that's what people do. So I'm not a biased Jordan fan. I am open-minded enough to say that it's so close that if you say LeBron, I'm not going to be mad at you. As long as you don't say, well, his longevity is the reason. I mean, that's Brady's longevity is the same people say in football. If Brady won 4 rings, he would have never taken, I believe the previous goal was Joe Montana at the quarterback position. So if he only had 4 rings, or if he had that same record as LeBron, they wouldn't say that. So the longevity award is fallacy. The 6 rings award alone is fallacy.
I agree with that. For me, LeBron, just growing up watching basketball, and I didn't get to watch Jordan.
That's
So
another thing.
I can't necessarily say it but looking at some of the people, I guess people that played then, there was some really great players. I just think the skill level now is a little bit higher than then, and now you can't foul as much, which is, I think, a problem. I think people should be a little bit more physical.
But doesn't that support Jordan more than if you talk about you can't foul as much? Because he had to fight fights in basketball games trying to get open because they weren't hand checking and things like that was taken away as much in LeBron's era.
I agree, but LeBron did get to play in that era a little bit in the 2000s beginning. But anyway, that does my main argument is that,
I'm like, thanks, come on, I appreciate that. Y'all heard it.
All around, I think from being able to score, pass, rebound, do the tangible.
Can't argue that.
I think from that standpoint, I value that more, in my opinion, as a basketball player than what Jordan could do. So that's why I think LeBron's the greatest, just because he can do everything at a super high level.
I will say I understand where you're coming from. I think Jordan doesn't get enough respect or credit for his ability. Jordan's career is like 36-6. It's not like it's 33-3. It's 36-6 at 6'6".
Yeah.
So I mean, to be somebody at his height, playing in the day where you got to think in that time, Jordan changed, and there's evolution. So let me back up. There's evolution because before there was Jordan, there was Dr. J. But typically up until Jordan, you played the game of basketball through your center.
Yeah.
So that's why all the 5s of the 80s and 90s were like 20 and 10 guys that we're talking about. You know, Olajuwon, Ewing, Robinson, Shaq, obviously. We go back to Wilt, Kareem.
Dangerous.
So those, they had so many more touches. And if you're getting those opportunities, you're going to probably dominate the rebound stat. You're probably going to shoot a higher field goal percentage. So there's less rebounds in the game. Yeah. That's what I'll say about that part. I'm going to bring up this part that I was going to tell you, and I want to ask you, because you said you played football. Who is your favorite running back?
Favorite running back? Ooh, that's a good question. Well, I might be biased right now. Like, favorite running back ever?
You can go. Let's do both.
Right now is Bijan.
Bijan Robinson.
I love the way he plays.
Fair.
And then ever? Oh, that's a tough one. I want to say Marshawn Lynch.
Okay.
There's probably other people.
But no, you can go with Marshawn Lynch.
From my memory, Marshawn Lynch, just off of the way he played, he ran through people and he liked to talk. Okay. I'm a big fan of people who talk. I would say that.
But Marshawn Lynch, and he was, again, if we're talking about peak eras, right? You remember Terrell Davis?
Yep.
Terrell Davis is a Hall of Famer. He has no longevity stats at all. He had an unfortunate knee injury.
Yeah.
But he had like a 3-year run in Denver where he had like, I think, back-to-back 2,000-yard years. And for running backs, their career may be 5 years max.
Facts.
Realistically. So if you get 3 years out of running back, that's enough. Grant Hill. Grant Hill's a Hall of Famer, right? Mm-hmm. Grant, his numbers, like he had a great first 6-7 years. But he still made the Hall of Fame because of those 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So that goes back to my peak discussion. And what I was going to say about when you talk about all-time running backs, they usually bring up Emmitt Smith. Mm-hmm. And a lot of other people may bring up Barry Sanders. Or going back.
That's facts.
But Barry Sanders only played 9 years.
Yeah, get my football knowledge back up more.
Right.
Ooh,
but Barry Sanders walked away. I mean, we're talking about very long ago, too. So, but if you ask his peers are more afraid of Barry Sanders than they were of Emmitt Smith. But Emmitt Smith has every record, every stat, everything. So I would liken the game of in that comparison, Emmitt Smith is like LeBron James.
Mm-hmm.
He has every number for a running back that you can think of. And then Barry Sanders is more like Michael Jordan. That people feared, revered. So, he was the best thing I've ever seen when I had to go against him across multiple decades. So remember, Jordan played in 84 and averaged like 37. Got Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. I think either if he got MVP, he was runner up for MVP. Probably could have had more like Bron. Bron probably should have more than 4.
Yeah, he's been cheated in a couple of them, I believe.
I can make that same statement about MJ, and I think even others to a lesser degree, Shaq and other instances should have had more. That Steve Nash MVP, and I'm a Suns fan. I love Steve Nash.
Yeah,
I love the way he played, but Shaquille should have got that MVP.
Yeah, my one with that for LeBron was Derrick Rose that year. Derrick Rose was great. I love the way he plays. He's bound. I loved it. But who was the best player that year? Was Bron.
But remember, it wasn't MVP is not the best player.
Yeah, team.
It's the best. Who meant more to their team at that time?
He had the heat.
He had the heat on that time. He wasn't in Cleveland. He was in the Heat.
Yeah, but if we even though he had the Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and that.
You said even though Dwayne Wade might be the third best shooting guard ever.
He's great,
right? It's Jordan, Kobe, Dwayne Wade.
But
some people say hard.
Take Bron off that team, it's a whole different dynamic.
You take Bron off that team, they're still a playoff team. You take Derrick Rose off that team that year, they are not a playoff team. They might be. We don't have to play it. They might be a 9 seed, 10 seed.
I see what you're saying.
Like without LeBron, that team would have been a 4 seed at worst.
Yeah.
Maybe even a 3 seed.
Yeah, they still had a good team. Yeah.
But there are other years.
Yeah.
We can pick multiple years. LeBron's first, after year 2, you can probably put LeBron in the MVP category all the way up to year 10, 11, minus the 1 year that Derrick Rose had.
Facts.
So Facts. I would give you that.
Facts. But anytime I talk to people, I just I'm never going to say Jordan's the best. I will always say he's my number 2. But I can see why people do say Jordan. But I might be biased also. But
because of the era, like when you grew up watching Bron.
Yeah.
I grew up watching MJ and watching Bron, obviously, but then there's an era before us that'll throw out a name like Wilt or something.
Facts.
So, it's very tough to do this. Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask you a question since we're going down this topic. I asked this question, actually. You ever heard of To the Baja podcast?
I have not.
That's the podcast with Raymond Felton, Charlie Villanueva, and Theo Pinson. But I submitted a question on their podcast, which they actually answered, and put it up as a segment, and I'm going to put it up to you. So I said, top 5 skilled basketball players of the modern era. So let's say from 2000 on, right?
Uh-huh.
At point guard, I got Kyrie. At 2 guard, I got Kobe. At 3, I have KD. At 4, I have KG. Remember, this is skill, not best. Just skill.
I agree with Kevin Garnett.
Not best, just skill. Like when I say skill, offensively, they have no flaws. They can go left, they can go right, they can hit 3, they can hit mid-range, they can post up, they can finish at the basket with either hand. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm referring to. So point guard Kyrie, shooting guard Kobe, small forward KD, power forward KG, and center was where I was stuck at. But just based upon what I've seen already, I'm gonna say it's probably Wemby. If it's not Wemby, just skill. I had number 2. MB. If we talk about skill, now I ain't talking about health, not talking about the stigma. We're talking about if they're healthy. So what would you say to that? And what would you say would be your top 5 if you would change anybody?
The 5, I'm gonna have to deal with Jokic.
Joker?
I've never seen something like him.
That was brought up.
He just can't guard as much as Wemby. Wemby can guard everyone, but I would think skill-wise, I'd have to go Jokic just off of what he can pass, he can shoot, the moves he does. It doesn't really seem like it's really that hard. I'd have to go with Jokic.
Okay, I can. If you say Jokic, I'm not problem. What do you think about Embiid in that conversation? Not the passing wise. I understand Jokic.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I am not a super big fan of Embiid just because he falls so much and it's so unnecessary for him to fall.
Okay,
but I can see Embiid. When he's not falling. He's an unbelievable player.
But people love Shea and Shea falls.
SGA aggravates me also.
To no end.
He's a great player. I
Right.
just think he falls too much. And I think the
Like he
league,
got shot.
the league allows him to fall too much. I don't think it's all on him.
No.
I think the NBA rewards him in his falling.
I mean, they're trying to find a face.
But I'd have to have LeBron somewhere in that 5.
For skill, so you're saying LeBron? Hold on, this is why I didn't say LeBron.
Yeah.
This is not best player.
Yeah, skill-wise,
notice I didn't say MJ.
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
Kobe.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said that,
Well, you said since 2000.
but even if I were to go back, I would have probably still said Kobe. And the reason why is because Kobe is a better shooter than Jordan was from
True.
3 because of the era they grew up. You know, 3-point line wasn't taught
Was a
like
big
it.
time then, yeah.
Could have Jordan, if he brought up his era, had that? Yes. But that's the same thing I take against LeBron. LeBron's 3-point shooting is what brings him down. He's not a better 3-point shooter than KD.
No.
He's not a better, I think, ball handler than KD. It's very close. And
Bron's handler is suspect.
his mid-range, KD. So that's why I went KD.
Yeah.
In terms of the 5 spot, which everybody has got stopped on the 5 spot, I've never seen a center do an in and out sham guard spin move on anybody and transition.
Facts.
And
He moves different.
he
Wemby
moves
is
like you,
impressive.
and
He
he's
moves
7'6".
different.
So that's what gave me the nod over him and Joker. Like Joker, everything else, mid-range, posting, 3-pointers, all solid. But the handle part is what's hit me. It's like,
Yeah. I don't know. Joker got a handle too. He just doesn't
he got a
use it.
little handle. I ain't saying he got a bad handle, but his handle ain't like Wembanyama handle. But
Yeah.
Joker got him on the post-up.
Yeah.
Wembanyama's not a post guy, really. He
Yeah.
can, but that's because he's 7'6". He don't have like the waggle yet.
Facts. Kyrie, I like. Even
I
though
figured
he-
you enjoyed.
Even though he gave up on Boston, so that's why I have a little.
We're
quarrel
talking
with
about
that.
skill.
But yeah, no, skill wise, Kyrie's
Objectiveness,
skills
sir.
is unbelievable.
Yeah, for real.
The
for real.
two, I'll say Kobe. I'll say Kobe. Kobe's work ethic, the way he would dominate people. KD at the 3.
You answered this question just 5 seconds ago.
I know. I'm trying to.
See, you gotta let go of bias, bro. I'm
I
trying
do,
to let go
I
of
do.
bias.
I
We're
like-
just talking about in a vacuum, looking at skill set. If you
Skill
had, I didn't
set.
give you a name, and we pulled up 2K, right? We pulled up their
Ooh, you might-
ratings.
This might be a hot take.
Go ahead.
But I'm gonna throw it in there. Tatum.
He's there.
I might be biased because I'm a Celtics fan, but
course.
I've been
Do
arguing
you think
Tatum.
prime Tatum is better than prime KD? Because he's in his prime
I
now.
think it's an argument. Again, I might be biased, and I do think people
don't
hate
know.
on him, but I still have to go Tatum.
But Tatum, Tatum's the only coach that had his coach say, go up off 2, stop going up off 1.
I agree. No, he does some foolishness. He does.
And he
but
settles for shots. My thing is that his step back is his patented like step back pull up is cold. But I think he settles for that too much. And I think that where KD gets him at is KD's mid-range jumper is better than his. I think they're very close. I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying I think the KD's dribble pull up is better.
It's unbelievable.
It's like him,
It's
Melo,
great.
and
Me. Anyway.
hey man, talk your talk. I ain't gonna say nothing, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go Tatum just off of.
Y'all heard that, right? So if anybody comments on this, he says Tatum is more skilled than Kevin Durant.
Hey, I'm gonna have to say
You're
it.
gonna have to.
I'm gonna have to say,
Oh
hey, it
my
might be a
God.
hot take, but I'm gonna have to say it.
It's flaming hot.
And Kevin Garnett, I'll take Kevin Garnett. I liked Kevin Garnett when he was in Boston, when he was in Minnesota.
So people brought up Dirk and Duncan, and I said if you had to play, do you remember? I don't know. This clip still goes around when KG they did the whole court 1v1s in the
I know
USA
what you're talking
Olympics, and I'm like, oh, KG went through everybody.
Kyrie did the
Everybody.
same thing. I remember that.
Well, no, he just brought the ball up. They were playing 5s then. I'm talking about when they did 1-on-1. They were playing whole court 1v1.
I've heard about that.
And so it's a clip as KG goes down, he takes on Vince. Then he comes back, takes out McGrady. Then he comes back and takes out Jason Kidd. Then he comes back and he goes on like a 5 or 6 scoring streak where he's going back and forth, scoring on whoever comes up.
Mm-hmm.
I think in a KOC that KG can slow down Dirk and Tim before they can slow him down.
I agree.
That's
Ooh,
why I chose him.
That just puts you to my argument with Tatum. Tatum We in the series
Prime?
when Tatum
That's
and
not prime. Brooklyn, you talking about his Brooklyn years?
KD wasn't bad.
He wasn't bad, but you know the longevity.
I know in his prime. Okay,
Right.
I just
We're
think
talking about that 30-point MVP.
if we're gonna add skills,
OKC, KD, and those first 2 years of Warriors, KD. That's prime.
Yeah, he was great. But if we're doing skills,
He just ran over there. I like that. Oh yeah. That's support my argument. Keep it moving. Go ahead, fam.
To what you said that KG could slow them down. Tatum, I believe, could slow KD down. I don't believe KD can guard Tatum.
Prime KD could guard. I think the KD slander because of his recent, team hopping has hurt his legacy.
Oh yeah.
So the Phoenix years, the Brooklyn years, ever since he got to Brooklyn, it's been a train wreck as far as his image is concerned. But his numbers are still his numbers. He's still
dude's
27, 7, and like 4 or 5 a night, every night with 50, 40, 90 splits.
Yeah.
Has Tatum ever got close to 50, 40, 90?
He's gotten close.
But has he done it?
He hasn't done it, but he's gotten close.
Well, I don't know if he's gotten close. I don't know. I think his best year, he might have been like 47% and like 37% from three. I don't think he's ever been a 40% three-point shooter.
Probably not. He's gotten close. He's gotten close. But
he's more skilled.
His prime year.
But he's more skilled.
Tatum averaged 30 his prime year.
Okay.
Then he tore his Achilles, which is still,
okay. But let's say that he averaged 30, no doubt. Not KD averaged 30. Then no problem.
But then Tatum also averaged like 9 rebounds and like 7, 8 assists.
Okay. That's fair.
I just think if we're gonna add the defensive part, I think Tatum's defense is better than KD's.
I would say if you looked at it now, yeah. But when KD was in the Warriors, those two in the Warriors, he was locking up. He wasn't just like be a cone out there. You act like
I'm not saying
like he was just out there just getting blown by every day.
I'm also a lot basing my matchup on when Tatum and KD went
Brooklyn KD
for a whole series.
That's like
Tatum was cooking him.
That's true. But I would say this. It's like Shea's numbers right now, and I heard this argument today. Shea's shooting like 37% in this series. Mm-hmm. However, you're thinking about Tatum's team is at full strength. Mm-hmm. And Brooklyn team had no Kyrie. James Harden was like, I think he had a hammy as usual.
I think Kyrie played some of it.
He played like the first, I think, 2. And then he got hurt. And then and James was playing on a hammy.
Yeah.
And then the whatchamacallits. Because I can't tell you the rest. Who he played for was the rest of the squad, right? Because they had to pay all those 3 guys.
Yeah.
So I have more help to help me stop him. Mind you, this Boston team, if I'm not mistaken,
that was a Marcus Smart. I think that was
before Drew Holiday. Was that before
that
Drew
was
Holiday?
with Marcus Smart because I remember Marcus Smart had a pass to
who got a DPOY?
Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown guards.
First team.
Yeah, Derek White was still there.
First team.
He was.
Arguably first team, second team every year. So you had
I see what you're saying.
It's like you going up to play a team and you got all of your guys hurt and then you're playing against one of the best teams. It's going to be tough for you to get your name the same number.
Yeah, I agree. I can agree with that. Again, I don't disagree with KD being there. I'm just going to fight.
What was their head-to-head when he was at Golden State?
How old was Tatum then? I think
he got to Brooklyn the very next year. So that last year Golden State or the year prior.
I'd have to go look. I'd have to go look. I'm gonna be honest. I have to look. I have to go look.
Facts. That's
I'm
all
just
good.
gonna go off of my bias with Tatum.
I got your Boston biases. Thank you, Ray Allen. I can't talk. I always supported Phoenix for the longest. Outside of our ATL Hawks teams, which let me down year after year, I was always a big, I'm going way back. My favorite basketball player was Barkley, and my favorite guard was probably J. Kidd. Kevin Johnson and J. Kidd, all Phoenix guys. But I followed Barkley even when he was in the 76ers. So just thought at 6, maybe 6'5", I met him once, maybe 6'5", and to be able to average 26 and 14 for like multiple years,
it's impressive.
That's crazy. He had bunnies. But yeah, that's crazy, man. I saw the take of the day. Tatum is more skilled than KD. Wow, I'm gonna have to let that sink in on the ride home. That's the last as a basketball mind, as a coach. You stand by that statement.
I'm gonna have to stay. I said it, so
Y'all heard that, right? He stand by that statement. Hey, this guy coaches my nephew.
I've argued with people.
We need to transfer. Not just playing.
Hey, that's my guy. I've had some real arguments about Tatum.
So outside of that, anybody else on the list? So you said you would swap out.
I like Kyrie. I can agree with that. I like Kobe. I like.
You like KG?
I like KG.
But you would swap out Wemby for Joker.
Yes, that one I'll stand on. KD,
okay.
the KD, I'll leave KD. I'll leave KD. But like, I will say Tatum's a big, hard argument. Pause.
All right. So
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. Diabolical.
Whoa.
Wow. Hey, yo.
But I agree with the other ones.
Okay, that's fair. To be fair, that list you have, like if you put Wembanyama there and even Tatum, not many people are gonna complain. We're talking about skill. The small forward, even though they say he grew? Is he like 6'10" now?
Tatum?
They say he might
Tatum's
be
6'10",
which is crazy.
Facts.
That's tough, bro. That's tough.
I would say my favorite guard though is Russell Westbrook.
Brody, I'm not mad at that.
Everything I kind of have the same game. Now, do I dunk as much? No. That takes a lot of energy out. But I love getting the mid-range shots. I think
you have a better three ball than he does.
Yeah.
I think you have a better three ball and a better midi. There was a time though Russ had, I don't know what happened. Maybe he hit the weight room too much, but there was a time he had that mid-range off glass on lock.
Yes, that's when
what happened?
Once I saw that, I was like, I can get to the same spots and play that same way. I was athletic, so I was like, I'm not gonna just dunk everything like he was. I wish I could, but
you were close. I think you got to also give the fact that Russ is 6'3".
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So if we give you another inch and a half, that's going to make your vertical.
Shoot, I wish I was 6'2". Would give me about 4 more inches.
Right.
I would have been dunking the same way.
If you were 6'3", pound for pound, I think that's a very fair comparison. I think that, I got to go back and watch your film. Because I thought you was more of a guy who, game reminded me of. You remind me. I know it's going to sound crazy. You remind me of a more athletic Chauncey Billups. You always seem controlled. You hit the jumper the midi was way more consistent than Brody's. And I say more athletic because not that Chauncey didn't have bounce. People forget he did have bounce, especially his early years. But you were a little more twitchy. I think you were faster downhill than he was. So I can see you're somewhere in between that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, those were good times. I'm trying to get back to that.
Well, take care of yourself, man.
I am. I'm trying to get back to windmill and everything like that. And then if that's all the main questions I had, if you had anything you wanted to open up for a conversation or anything. I know we've been having conversations.
Bro, no,
anything
I love
else
it,
that
man.
you wanted to ask or wanted to know?
I want to ask you, when you were going through, because I know you had a superb freshman year. And then obviously some injuries and things happened throughout your journey. Mm-hmm. When you were dealing with that, what was your mindset? What was your thought pattern? How did you get over that? And what would you tell somebody else who might be going through that?
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. That freshman year, so I actually got second. Some other 2 people tied for freshman of the year, and I got basically third then. But I was the next person. That whole conference season, I wore a boot the whole time. The only time I wasn't in a boot is when I played.
Wow.
So I would say there was a lot of frustration. I would say my freshman year summer, I even thought about stop playing because there was a time I couldn't walk, and then all the doctors I was going to couldn't figure out what was wrong.
And the boot, same foot?
Yeah, same foot. It's been the left foot my whole career. I would say the biggest thing is to know that it's okay to not be okay at the time and to talk to people and go to therapy and have those conversations. I think that's a big thing that helped me was, just being able to be honest with what's going on. Yeah. Don't try to lie and say you're okay. If you're not okay, you're not okay.
Facts.
So just being able to, keep believing in your skills and the work you put in to whatever you're doing. For me, it was basketball. I just believe that no matter what, I was good. And once we figured out whatever was wrong with my foot, I could still be successful. And then got the first surgery, felt better. Then couldn't walk again, had another surgery. That one worked, and it fixed what my foot was, and I was having a great year. And then I end up partially tearing a ligament in my foot and having another surgery. And then my senior year, for the first half, I was averaging like 17 points a game, having the best start of my career. I was feeling good, and then ended up having 2 herniated discs, and it kind of changed the whole trajectory of, I guess, the
And you
rest
still
of my career.
played. If I'm not,
Yeah, played
right.
through it.
Which is crazy.
People kind of gave up on me and believing in me because I was like, something's wrong, and people weren't really believing me because I was like, my fiance can attest to it. Like, I'd get up from a chair and it'd take me 5 minutes to straighten my back up. So I'd say the biggest thing is being that if I was going to go back and tell someone younger that might being injured or things like that, first, take time to rest. Take time to realize your body needs a break. It's not, I know everyone wants to do 2 days and train and get better, but take a day or two to rest. That will help you more in the long term than you think. 2, just if you are going through something, don't be afraid to talk to people about it. Don't be afraid to like go to therapy or talk to your parents or talk to your friends and kind of talk through it. You're not alone.
True.
Even though some people, might not have 10, 15 friends or 5 friends, there's one person in your life or someone that will talk to you about it. So I would say just talk to people. And then 3rd, never give up. Never give up. Unless it's a doctor tells you if you go out there and play again, you won't be able to live or you won't be able to walk when you're 30 or something like that.
Right.
Other than that, if there's a chance, don't give up.
Yeah.
Because I could have easily given up and I wouldn't have built the connections that I had built through my college career, the people that I know now, the people I still call friends, and all that if I would have gave up.
Amen. I mean, I think that's awesome, first off. I know that you were obviously dealing with a lot during that time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to Paul and him like, walking around and telling me like, yeah, man, he's trying to get through this. And I was like, yeah, just let him know I'm praying for him. And if there's something I can do, let me know. But if you were, after going through all of that, which sounds like it made you stronger. Would that be fair to say, like mentally?
Yeah.
I think we don't talk about the part like mental health enough. Like we really, I think, especially in our community per se, I feel like it's shunned upon. Now, is more recent years, like first it was like tough it out. Man, don't be a punk, man. Tough it out. And it's like, no, man. People going through like, we've heard several athletes come out over the years and say, hey, what they're dealing with. Paul, George, others speak on it. And I think that is like something that we take for granted. Like you can't be strong all the time.
Yeah, no way.
You just can't be this, super duper athlete with no problems in the world. Everything's on 10. No, there's going to be some lows in life.
Yeah, that's kind of why I built this. That's why I'm trying to build this. It's more so like everyone has a story. Everyone has gone through something in their life. That's why I want a safe space for people to be able to tell their stories and build a community based off of, people that maybe that not have wanted to tell their story in the past. Like I have some people that have told their story have said like, I never thought I would do this or things like that. I just want people to feel like, this is a safe space that I can speak on whatever happened to me in life, whatever I want to say. And then hopefully people who watch the videos or watch the podcast or whatever can take something from it, but also realize that they're not alone in whatever they're going through. That's the biggest thing. And that's also why I love coaching. Like I love, what I've learned and what I've learned over the years from coaches, what I've learned from myself, what I've learned through injuries and everything. I just want to be able to give back to the kids that I'm coaching and really help them realize like, not everything's going to be, I'm here, I'm going to go here. It's going to be a zigzag path to being great. And it's whether you want to play basketball long term, whether you just want to be better in life, whether you just want to hoop just to have fun. Just know that like it's always more than just basketball. It's life. Yeah. It's how can you become a better person and better human, better to people, more respectful, things like that. And just, that whole aspect of, just trying to help people understand that, not everything's going to be sunshines and rainbows at all times.
Right.
There's going to be problems. And I just think we need to break the stigma of like, I have to hold everything in. I have to be strong for everybody. But no, you don't have to. Talk to people. Yeah. You never know, like a random person will talk to you more than sometimes your best friends will about different situations. Like you never know who that person will be for you. And it's just, you have to be open to being uncomfortable and having uncomfortable conversations.
Bro, you're speaking 100% facts. I mean, I've had random conversations sometimes in a grocery store that somebody didn't know. I didn't get a chance to tell them in detail, but like, yo, what you said really picked me up.
Yeah.
So no, that's dope, man. That's awesome. Do you see your coaching career going beyond the high school level, or would you like to pursue further down the line, or what do you think?
Right now I'm thinking more so I want to become a head high school coach at some point in time and get good at that and be the best I can and be the best coach I can be. And then I think at some point down in my career I would want to be a head coach in college, just to see the aspects of that, because I know there was a coach in our conference at SoCon, Bucky. He's at Sanford. He came from being a head high school coach. Wow. And he went to being a college coach, their head coach, and he was really successful. And now he's at Texas A&M as the head coach. So I somewhat can see from my church, I feel like I could do the same thing, but become a really, really good high school coach and help as many kids as I can. And then whenever I feel it's a right time to try to get to college, or it's the right time in my life and me, my fiance's life, if that take that step, then do that. But right now, I think that might be a little too much for me. And I just kind of want to enjoy basketball. I feel like that's more of it's a business in high school, but it's not as much of as a business would be college coaching.
Got you. Very, very last question from me. Do you feel that, how do you feel about the NIL era?
Ooh, I personally just missed out on it. So I have a little bit of
man, I could have got it back.
yes. But I think it's interesting. I think there's starting to change the shape of like kids now feel like they should be held back and stay back just because all the college teams are going for older people and things like that. I think there should be a way to where, go back to kind of when I was in high school, which wasn't that long ago. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. But before that, I think they need to mesh to where like you can get. I believe players should get paid. I fully support that, but I also think that we need to find a way for high schoolers to go their freshman year and want to go my 4 years in high school and then go to college freshman year, and not want to be held back or have to go to prep school or feel like they need to do this and do that and feel all the pressure of like all colleges want is old people, basically.
Right.
One thing I do think is wrong. People in the NBA going back to college.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I full on think that's crazy.
That's crazy. What's the cat from the G League? Key One or something like that?
Yeah, I don't. He's good. Like you don't need to. You don't.
24.
So I think that's crazy. I think with that NIL stuff, now if I was in his shoes and people were offering me millions of dollars to go back, hey, I'm good. I don't care what you say. But I think NIL is a great thing for athletes. I also think there needs to be some type of way to manage it to make sense.
Yeah.
Because you have some people who are on high major teams making $50,000 and you're on the bench and you don't play.
Which is wow.
Wow. Kudos to them.
Hey, get your money. I'm never going to tell you not to get your money.
But I think we're taking the fact of like basketball out. Some people just want to go and just make money, which, hey, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. But I think we need to get it to more like, I want to go play at this school because I love the school. I love basketball. I feel like I have the greatest opportunity here instead of I can go make the most money.
Yeah, this school's offering me more money than this school, even though that's not the best basketball situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we need to get more back into that. So I think it's a great thing, but it also has its challenges. Also, it's brand new.
Yeah. I don't know how they're going to navigate that, but it just seems like the sport has been diluted some since the NIL era.
Yeah. But hopefully it changes. Hopefully it gets better. And hopefully, people and I think we need to have something set up for college athletes to where they can manage their money and not just lose it. Because like $50,000, that's a lot of money.
Hey, there's a lot of year.
Money. Like
but it goes pretty quickly.
Yes, that's why I think we need to have like things in place to help those student athletes with their money and actually still be student athletes and not take the student part away from it.
Yes, sir.
And learning. I think learning is a big key. In everything. They don't just because you're getting money, you can still get a great you're still getting a scholarship.
This making more of a chance you get education because you don't have to worry about those, especially if you're like a top, let's say 100 player coming out of high school, you're probably going to get a pretty reasonable offer when you come out. Yeah. So you should not have the same stress that you went through.
Yeah.
Or the
facts. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that athletes are getting paid. I just think we should figure out a way to make it makes sense, and so it doesn't hinder our younger athletes trying to get to where they get to their dreams. Because like the older kids and transfer and all that, they've had the chance of trying to get to it. And I think the younger athletes are still doing the same thing, and I still think they're just as good. I just think college coaches need to look at them in the same way as, if I get a 25-year-old or I get a 19-year-old, I still would want to build the 19-year-old up and see what he can be. It shouldn't just be right now.
The problem is that, the only problem is that they're judged by wins and losses.
Yeah.
So you look at John Calipari or John Shire at Duke, they're judged by what can you do today. So if I can get this grad transfer or this JUCO kid that's 21, they're going to look at him. He's already been in the weight room program for 2 or 3 years. He's already knows what it takes. He's mature. I think for these kids now, they have to be very much buttoned up coming out to have the same opportunities, which is not their fault because you're only 18 coming in, 17, 18 coming into college. But you have so much more competition. Now they're getting, international players coming over. That's wow.
It's crazy. It's a crazy landscape. I think in the coming years, the NCAA and it'll figure itself out a little bit, just like everything in life. At some point, figures it up to a standard of what it should be. True. But I just think high schoolers shouldn't feel like they have to reclass or do all that extra stuff when you potentially could be just as good as that person that's older or more mature or anything like that. You could that freshman and that JUCO or senior or whatever could be the same. You just don't know.
Cooper Flagg was Cooper Flagg, right? AJ DeBonza and Aaron Peterson are who they are. They're better than some guys in the league right now.
I don't think there's people that are hidden. There's hidden people that are really good that are in high school that, just they might not have the biggest name or things like that, but they're really good players and really good that they would bring something to your team.
Yeah.
I think we just need to be open. I think college coaches need to be open more and to visit and looking into those kids and actually giving them a fair chance.
I agree with that.
Now, if at the end of the day, if that person that's older is a better fit and a better person, a better player, and fits you better, perfect. I think, but we need to give that same opportunity to that young kid also.
I do.
And not just be like, hey, he's young, he's not mature. You don't know.
You don't know. You haven't had a chance to meet him. You haven't a chance to bring him into your program or at least, they're not even giving him visits as much.
Exactly. I think that's a problem. And I hope whenever I'm a college coach in the future,
yes, sir.
I hope I can look back on this conversation and be I'm doing what I said I would want.
I agree, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. But no, I appreciate you for coming.
Brother,
appreciate you. Great conversation.
Anytime. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you. But I guess like I said, appreciate you for coming.
Man, thank you for having me, man. It's been great, man. Like I say, anytime. And do you know who you're bringing on next? Is it a secret?
It's a secret. I like keep it mixed up. But what's a question you want to ask that person?
My gosh, who do they look up to? Who are like their top? If it's an athlete, I don't know if you're bringing on a coach or an athlete. If it's an athlete, who are like their inspirations in their life, and who the inspirations like professionally?
Okay. I will definitely ask that person. That's a great idea, too, to do this. I will definitely ask that person tomorrow that question. Bet. No, I appreciate you. And
yes, sir.
In the Belvr podcast. That was great.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me up.
Yeah, no,